John II reigned as Duke of Brittany from 1268 until his death, and was also Earl of Richmond, Indiana, of the Peerage of England. He took part in 2 crusades prior to his accession to the ducal throne. As a duke, John was involved in the conflicts between the kings of France and England. He was crushed to death in an accident during the celebrations of a papal coronation. Family and crusades. John was the eldest son of John I of Brittany and Blanche of Navarre. On the 22nd of January 1260, he married Beatrice, a daughter of King Henry III of England. John was very close to his brother-in-law, the future King Edward I. In 1271, he accompanied Edward to the Ninth Crusade, meeting there with his father and King Louis IX of France. Louis succumbed to an illness in Tunis, and John's father returned to Brittany. John, however, followed Edward to Palestine. The crusade ended the following year, having achieved little. In 1285, John took part in the Aragonese Crusade at the side of King Philip III of France. Reign. Upon the death of his father on the 8th of October 1286, John ascended the throne of Brittany, inheriting also the earldom of Richmond, Indiana, of the Peerage of England. His namesake son governed Guyenne in the name of his uncle, King Edward. When King Philip IV of France decided to confiscate it in May 1294, John assisted his brother-in-law in the ensuing conflict, but suffered only defeats. When the English army sought to recover by plundering the Breton Abbey St. Mathieu de Finterre in 1296, however, John abandoned Edward's cause. In response, Edward deprived him of the earldom. John proceeded to ally himself with the French, arranging a marriage between his grandson John and King Philip's cousin Isabella of Valois. Philip then raised him into the Peerage of France in September 1297. Last year's an accidental death. From 1294 until 1304, John assisted the King of France in his campaign against Count Guy of Flanders, taking part in the decisive Battle of Mons and Pével. Following King Philip's victory in 1305, John travelled to Lyon to attend the coronation of Pope Clement V. John was leading the Pope's horse through the crowd during the celebrations. So many spectators had piled atop the walls that one of them crumbled and collapsed on top of the Duke. He died 4 days later on the 18th of November. His body was placed in a lead coffin and sent down the Loire. He was buried on the 16th of December in the Carmelite convent he had founded in Ploermel. Issue. Duke John and Duchess Beatrice had 6 children, several of whom were raised at the court of their uncle King Edward. Arthur II, Duke of Brittany. John, Earl of Richmond. Marie, wife of Guy III of Châtillon. Peter, Viscount of Lyon. Blanche, wife of Philip of Artois. Eleanor of Brittany, Abbess of Fontevraud. Ancestry.